he was ordained on the same day, 1996, 97, 98.
1996 February.
Yes, he was ordained on the same day with somebody Odola.
Paul Odola.
And then Enenche.
Yes, him, Paul Odola, and Paul Enenche were ordained the same day, right there.
The same Enenche.
Same service.
So why will he now say he doesn't know you?
Well, time will tell.
Okay.
Time will tell.
Basically, it was obvious that Dr. Paul as a person had his own approach, his own lifestyle, his own more or less like ministry, came around as an associate. So basically, what he is doing today, we are always known that he had a ministry that definitely was going to be global because of his approach to ministry that was quite different from ours. He's very strict and very high standard of living that to a very large extent was different from us because we were quite young men then, and that was quite different. So what he's doing today, I'm not surprised. And if Dr. Abel is being claimed to happen, train or probably ordain Dr. Enenche, I want to say this sincerely, that when a man that had his own ministry and was already in ministry associates with you at one point in time, it does not translate to the fact that he was being ordained by Master. It's just like saying that John the Baptist called Jesus into ministry. On transit to the mountain, they had an opportunity to meet John the Baptist, but obviously he could know that Jesus was called for a purpose. So whatever we see today, I think Dr. Paul Enenche had it, and he was very intentional about it while he was with us.
Hi, welcome to the Preacher's Portal. If you're new to this channel, please hit the like button, share and subscribe. Well, this is still a developing story, and after Dr. Abel Damina shared a shocking revelation that he ordained Dr. Paul Enenche into ministry, and he pointed him and he gave him the compass to doing ministry full-time instead of going for his medical course abroad. So, and this has caused a stir in the internet, and he has subsequently been talking about it. Anywhere he's been asked, he will confirm that yes, he ordained. And Dr. Paul himself has not replied to this. He only stated, ironically, an antelope cannot give birth to an elephant. And the Christian community and this Christian community has been waiting for a solid reply to debunk the story from Dr. Paul Enenche, and which we might not get from him, because he's focused with his ministry. But however, another name was mentioned, which is Paul Odola, by Dr. Abel Damina, and Pastor Paul Odola has come out now to talk about his own side of the story. So however, we have testimonies from people who were ordained, supposedly ordained on the same day. So let's listen to Pastor Paul Odola share the testimony on what really happened.
Quite interesting. A number of things that Pastor Tony Okoro said. One, that you were the one, whereas then Dr. Paul Enenche would have wanted to join Power City. You said no, go and start your own work, and that you were the first to preach for him. Is that correct? Very true.
Very true. In Abuja. Very true. We used a small hall in Sheraton Hotel then that could take about 80 people, because that's what they could afford. No, Sheraton.
Sheraton, okay.
That was the first time. Sheraton was where I preached, and I remember that service. I invited Bishop John Praise and Bishop Jonas Katung to come with me to that service, and they were in that service when I preached for him in that service.
Oh, thank you very much. I think I've been privileged to know Dr. Abel Damina and Dr. Paul Enenche way back, as far back as 1994 was the first time I think Dr. Paul Enenche came into the picture of Dr. Abel Damina. And as at the time Dr. Paul came into the picture, he was already a man of God in his own right. I have a particular handbill where Dr. Paul featured as a guest speaker. Yes, he was already a guest speaker. That was in 1995. It was in that handbill. There's one pastor called Dr. Friday Younger, in 1995. So Dr. Paul came into the picture as already a minister of the gospel, fireful and vibrant, that often attends the conferences that Dr. Abel organizes. There was this just prayer conference that was going on then, that Dr. Paul comes around. So when the movement ICMA became a church, Dr. Paul came in as an associate minister. Sometimes he goes around preaching, you don't get to see him on the Sunday. If he's around at just, he comes into the service. And I had the opportunity to invite Dr. Paul to come minister for us in 1995 in Bauchi State. He was then a man of God in his own right. He came to that meeting with Dr. Becky, his wife, and with Deborah, his daughter, with his mother. That was 1995. As you can see then that the man was anointed, was fireful, was a man of God in his own right by all standard. So we had the opportunity of coming around Dr. Joshua Telina and Reverend Dr. Abel Damina, and obviously, I must say this, obviously, it was very clear, very apparent that it was different. It was different from us in so many ways than I can mention here. It was different in his lifestyle. It was different in his approach to ministry. It was different in his morality. And so basically, it was obvious that Dr. Paul as a person had his own approach, his own lifestyle, his own more or less like ministry, came around as an associate. So basically, what he is doing today, we have always known that he had a ministry that definitely was going to be global because of his approach to ministry that was quite different from ours. His very strict and very high standard of living that to a very large extent was different from us because we were quite young men then, and that was quite different. So what he's doing today, I'm not surprised. And if Dr. Abel is laying claim to happen, train or probably ordain Dr. Enenche, I want to say this sincerely, that when a man that had his own ministry and was already in ministry associates with you at one point in time, it does not translate to the fact that he was being ordained by you as well. It's just like saying that John the Baptist called Jesus into ministry. On transit to the mountain, he had an opportunity to meet John the Baptist, but also he could know that Jesus was called for a purpose. So whatever we see today, I think Dr. Paul Enenche had it, and he was very intentional about it while he was with us. And today we can see the evidence of what God is doing. I must say this with all sense of sincerity, that Dr. Paul Enenche at the moment is one of the greatest voices we have in the body of Christ. And for me, I think he is more or less like the current father of our faith. Because whether we like it or not, the older generations are certainly going to, I won't say face out, but he is one of the current father of faith that we now have, that the generation, my generation of ministers are looking up to, because of what he epitomizes. What he has been able to accomplish by the Spirit of God, lives that he has taught. At the moment, every country he has gone, both the president of the country and the citizens of the country stand at attention. And I think such a man should be given the honor due him. And so in the light of Dr. Abel's comment and whatever with regards to Dr. Enenche, I think completely is out of order.
Now the truth is this: if you listen to the testimony of Pastor Paul Odola, you will tell that the style of ministry, the pattern of ministry and teaching between Dr. Paul Enenche and Dr. Abel Damina is quite different. The approach, the method, the system, everything is just different. And no doubt, if people with greatness come across your path and you are able to do one or two things, when you begin to see results in their life, you might want to attach their success or their greatness to the fact that you had an input in their life. So certainly what we can get from this story is that there was a relationship between Dr. Paul and Dr. Abel Damina, but the strong claim of being ordained by Dr. Abel Damina, that's a very, very strong, and is a strong word, or is a strong claim. So we are yet to hear from Dr. Paul, because Dr. Abel Damina said they were witnesses in the hall that day. So definitely more people might come out in the future to talk about this event that happened where Dr. Paul was ordained. And ordination is not a child's play, it's not a little thing, especially in ministry. Whoever ordained you certainly has an important role in your ministerial journey, so it's something that is serious. But however, till date we've not had an official and a direct statement from Dr. Paul Enenche about the whole issue, so we'll keep our fingers crossed. But certainly this is Pastor Paul Odola, who was also mentioned as being ordained on that day, and you can hear what he said about Dr. Paul being an associate minister before even coming into ministry, before even coming into contact with Dr. Abel Damina. So this is a developing story, and so we had to publish this out there in order to create the other side of the story, because we've not heard from Dr. Paul Enenche. This is the Preacher's Portal. If you're new to this channel, please hit the like button, share, leave a comment below, and subscribe. See you in our next upload. Bye for now.